I have no idea. Yeah. My first time.
Sounds weak.
Trying to do it. That's better. Where's better? You said sandwiches. You have them somewhere. Is that already?
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the sandwiches right there in that. What's up? Oh, so pretty. Oh, yeah.
Money. Say Hag Semiach.
Wait, say that again.
Hag
Hag
Semiach.
Hag Semiach.
Yom Teruah.
Yom Teruah.
Say Hag Semiach. Say Yom Teruah. Yes. Say Hag Semiach. Yom Teruah. You okay, Papa? You don't want to say it? You don't want to say it? You don't want to say it? You don't want to smile?
The walk is so cute.
Say Hag Semiach. Say Yom Teruah. There you go.
I was like, oh, this would be good to talk about. Right here. Here's the bag.
That's a dog. Litty for Yom Teruah. As you can see, we're feasting out on today. We're gonna blow the trumpet as soon as the moon is highly visible in the sky. And we're gonna enjoy this, alright? So hopefully you guys enjoy this footage. Shalom. Alright, so Leviticus chapter 23. Are y'all using, what are y'all using for the Bible? You using an app?
I'm using
I have the app.
Which one? Gateway?
I have Gateway.
Because I was gonna, so can y'all go to Bible Hub?
Yes.
Okay, go to BibleHub.com. It's an app so you can download for your phone. You can go to your web browser and look for it. But this way we can go through the Hebrew together and then we'll read it in English. Because typically when they do these feast days, we typically do a reading in Hebrew.
Leviticus 23.
Alright, verse 1. Alright, so when you get to BibleHub.com, at the top you should see something that says INT. INT, click on that. That's called interlinear. It's short for interlinear.
Okay.
And what that does is that it gives you the Strong's number at the top. It gives you a transliteration underneath that. It gives you the Hebrew. And then it gives you the English, the direct English translation of the Hebrew. Okay?
Okay.
So we'll read it. Leviticus chapter 23. And in Hebrew, Leviticus is Vayikra. Vayikra literally means and he called. So if you look at the transliteration, which is right underneath the number, it transliterates the Hebrew for you to make it easier to pronunciate, right? So the first word there is way daber. Okay, we can say it together. Way daber, which means and he spoke. Yahweh or Yahweh, I don't know what y'all say here, but this is the name of the Most High. You can say the Most High. Say the Most High. And then you can say El is the next one. El, Moshe, and then more. Alright, so and he spoke who? Yahweh to Moses, saying, and go to the next one. So it's a little arrow. Yeah. Alright. And then we break it down the next one, alright? This one looks a little lengthy, but we can do it together. Alright, so the transliteration, the first one is Dabir. Do you have it? Dabir. El B'nai Yisrael. So he's saying, so the Most High telling him, speak to the sons or the children of Israel, right? You have Way Amarta, and say to them, Alhem, right? And say Alhem to them, Mo Adeh So that word there is the word we get for feast, right? All right, Moeday, Yahweh of the Most High, Asher, Tikreu, Otam, Mikra'e, Kodesh, Eleh, Hem, Moeday. So speak to them and say, the feast of the Most High, which you shall proclaim, Otam, to who? The holy convocations, right? That's what we say. Now, the word there for convocation, the root word is Kuf Resh Aleph, which is the word Kara, which means to call, the calling. When you call people together. Kodesh means set apart. So the set apart times when you call people to come together. This is where you have the word Moed or Moadim, which is your feast, right? And it says, the Most High says, Elehem Moadei, which means these are my feasts. The Most High says these are his feasts. So we're just sharing in something that is his, right? And then so then it lists down the rest of the feast days, but we're going to jump down to verse 23, right? So an easy way for you guys to get there is at the very top is a strip with the abbreviation for all the translations, NIV, NLT, ESV, BSB. You see that at the top? Mm-hmm. You can just click on any one of them. And then when you click on it, you're going to scroll down and click on the blue 23 for verse 23. Yes. Okay, yes. Almost in 1 second. We're almost done.
Blue 23?
Yep. Leviticus 23:23. All right, you there?
Yes.
Everybody? Okay, so once you get there, it's going to show you a parallel Bible. So it's going to show you various translations. You're going to click on INT again at the top for interlinear. And then we're going to see something familiar, which we see in verse 1. Right? Wave the bear. Wave the bear. The Most High. El Moshe Lemor. And he spoke who? Yahweh. So in Hebrew, you typically have the verb before the subject. This is why it reads like that. But in English, it's normally the subject and then the verb. Right? So, and he spoke who? Yahweh to Moses, saying, go to the next verse. Right? Just click over to the next verse. All right, and this one is Daber. Daber. El. Bnei Israel. Lemor. Bahudesh. Ha-Sebe'i. That word sebe, I don't know if you learn the letters, the numbers in Hebrew, but that root word there, sebi, having to do with seventh, right? Be-echad. So you know the word echad means what? One. First, right? Be means, it's a preposition meaning at or with or on. On the first day, right? La Chodesh of the month. Chodesh means month, right? La Chodesh. Yiyeh. Lachem. Sabaton. That's important, right? So on the first day of the 7th month, you shall have a what? Shabbaton, which means Sabbath, right? However, interesting thing, when you learn Hebrew, and as you do readings like this, you'll start to get more interested in the Hebrew. Hebrew, there's a suffix there, and the root word is Shabbat, which we know means the Sabbath, but it has a suffix here. The suffix is the word on. You hear on, Shabbaton. Right, so that's similar. Anybody here know Spanish? A little bit of Spanish? I know Cherie does. You do? Okay. So in Spanish, you have a suffix like ita. What does ita mean or ito mean in Spanish as a suffix?
It's a diminutive that makes it like more
endearing
or affectionate
or smaller form of something. So if I say mamacita, that's what you used to say in New York. Hey, mamacita.
Yeah.
Right? That's not a grown mother. But that's somebody has an endearing form of characteristics or attributes as a mother, a little mom, right? So when you hear Shabbaton, it's indicating that this is a smaller version of a larger portion. So the larger portion is the Sabbath, which is a day of rest, but the Shabbaton is referring to a period of time in which rest is done, a smaller period of time, and not the entire day, right? So it says here, on that first day of the month, you're supposed to have a Shabbaton, a rest, right? And it says Zikron. What's the next? Say Zikron. Teruah. So Zikron has to do with a memorial. It comes from the word Zakar in Hebrew, which means to remember. Right? So a Zikron is a memorial or remembrance of something. And Teruah, which means the blowing of something. And then it goes Mikra Kodesh. You can say Mikra Kodesh. And again, that's set apart, calling together, calling everybody together. So it's not a regular, hey, let's get over and hang out at the house. Nah, it's a set apart getting together because we're engaging in the Most High's feast. So we're sharing with Him, right? All right, in the next verse, we can go to the next verse, verse 25. But where did you put your trumpet? It's right here. Okay? Relax. Turn around. No, because I was telling you to stop because you was playing with the blinds. Okay? Still reading. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Mom. All right. So the next one, it goes in conjunction with the previous verse. It's Kal, Meleket, Avodah, Lo, Tasu, Wehikrabtam, Ise. You got the Most High's name. But what does this mean? Kal means all, everything. In this case, he translates as any. Meleket, the root word there is malak, which can mean to reign or to rule. Melek normally means he who reigns or rule. In this case, meleket has to do with the action of when you work, you have dominion over what you're doing, right? So typically, when they're doing a field of work or a trade, it's somebody who that is what they do day to day. They rule or they reign over the work that they're doing. But here it says avodah, which means customary work that you would typically do 6 days out of the week. When it comes to this day, you don't do it, right? And it says ta'asu, right? So in Hebrew, you have what's called the negative privative, which literally means if I give you a verb that say run, and then in English is don't run. In Hebrew, lo means don't. It's a negative privative, so it comes before the verb. Lo ta'asu. So the root word is doing something. What are we doing? What we see previously. Any customary work, don't do it. That's pretty much what it's saying, right? Yeah. And then the word wehikrabtem, which means you shall offer. Offer what? Ise, something that has to do with fire. The word ish is there for fire. An offering. And they put the word offering there, but you shall offer something by fire to the Most High. And it should say La Yahweh. They didn't really put it in the transliteration, but whenever you have the La, the Lamed prefix, it means to or towards. It's a preposition, right? So you shall offer something by fire to the Most High. Now, interestingly enough, I know today we don't really give a lot of offerings. This here is not specified for you to do to a priest. So technically, you can still do this today, but most of us don't do this. But if you want to create a bonfire, you can take a portion of your food that you're eating and you can put it in the fire and give it up to the Most High. If you want to do something customary that our ancestors have done. If you're into it like that. If not, an argument can be made because we're not in the land. That's why we don't have to do this specifically as far as that offering is concerned. Right? So it depends on how you want to do it. Thank you. Sit down, please. Okay, we're almost done. All right, so I think that's it. I think there's only 2 verses for that. Let's confirm. Yeah, that's it. Verse 23 to 25. All right, so the next one after that is the Day of Atonement, and then after that is Sukkot. Right, so from there we're done. So typically when we read, if anybody has any questions, anything that they want to share, what's wrong? You hurt yourself? Okay, then you need to relax, okay? Calm down. Anybody have any questions, any thoughts, comments?
I'm just thinking that's pretty cool to just, even though, you know, we don't in today's society, we don't burn anything, but just being mindful to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. And so, I would be interested in that because it's like, you want to be able to give the best that you can.
And be able to kind of reenact what our ancestors done, right? To kind of get you back into that mindset back then. So again, it doesn't specify what kind of offering to give. It just says that you should give something by fire to the Most High. So typically, when we do Sukkot, we typically have like a bonfire or something like that we do. You're gonna burn some money. Well, at that time they didn't burn money, so it had to be some kind of meat offering or grain offering or something like that. Your dogs. But pretty much what it signified is that when you're blowing the trumpet, you're also giving the Most High something, right? Because He's allowing you the opportunity to enjoy His feast, so you're giving Him something back in return, right? Something you're sacrificing to the Most High. Saying, you know what, this is treasured. I kept this all year, but you know what, Most High, I'm gonna give it back to you. And they typically will give a food offering. So you're right, and that's the thing that I like, and I want to start doing more is reenacting the customs. Yeah, Numbers 10:10. All right, so Numbers 10 and 10. All right. So it starts U Beyom, and it translates as in that day, or at that time, or and that time. Simchatkem, to do of your gladness, right? Ube Moa Dekem. Okay, that's to do with your feast days, right? And in your feast days, it says at the beginning, U Berase. Now that root word there is bara, and we typically hear that in Genesis 1:1, where it says in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, right? And then you have ha desekem. The root word there is chodesh, dechet, dalet, shin, meaning month, and kem is a suffix. It's your second person masculine plural, which means y'all, right? It says utekatem, which means and you shall blow. Utekatem. Right? And then you get your trumpets. Baha so serot. There you go, which is the trumpets. Al, which means upon or over something. Al. Olo teken. That has to do with your burnt offerings. Now, burnt offerings are voluntary. Burnt offerings are not mandatory. Sin offerings, guilt offerings, and this is Leviticus Chapter 1 to Chapter 4. Burnt offerings are voluntary, something additional you want to give to the Most High. So you see, when we do trumpets, it says give something by fire. That's voluntary. It's not because we did anything wrong, because we want to give something to the Most High for what He's given to us, right? And that's something you do above and beyond, because you're not required to do it, but you give it out of the volition or the voluntary measures of your heart. Hey, I want to give the Most High extra because I have something I want to give to Him, right? So that's the burnt offering. Keep that in mind, right? And it says we'al zikhe. We'al zikhe. All right, and it says and over way means and, al means upon or over, and then the word zikhe, the root word there is zabak. Zabak means to sacrifice or a sacrifice, right? If you're making it a verb or a noun, right? So the sacrifices, now here in Hebrew, you have something called a construct form. In this case, it's the masculine plural construct, which means it's in English, it's like of. So like if I was saying this in English, I would say the sacrifices of. In Hebrew, zite means the sacrifices of, possessive, and then salmekem is the one after that. Is your peace offerings, because the root word is shalom, right? Shin, lamed, mem, shalom. In Hebrew, you have what's called Tri-Consonantal Roots. They make up of 3 consonants that normally have differentiations or variations, and it means the same thing. In this case, it means peace, right? They should do your sacrifices of peace, and they add the offerings there, right? And then it says, and remember, peace offerings is also voluntary, right? So all of this is voluntary, okay? And it says, and they shall be, which is wehayu. I lost everybody now. Wehayu. Okay, and they shall be lachem, for you all. All right. Again, see this word again. Lezikaron. Again, root word there is zakar, which means to remember, a memorial. Lipne, which means before. Elohim. Second person, masculine plural, y'all's God. That's what it should say. In English, y'all's God, right? And you see, so at the bottom of the transliteration is the way it's parsed out, right? So it parses out the grammar for you and explains to you how that should be understood in the Hebrew grammar, right? So we'll go over that another time, but it gives you these keys. You can click on each one of those things and it'll tell you what it means. So you'll see what a verb is, a conjunction is, a preposition is. It explains all that for you, right? And then it goes Ani, which means I am Yahweh or Yahweh, whatever you want to say, and then Elohim. So I am the Most High, your power, your God, right? So Numbers 10, like Isaiah pointed out, is important because it's also a new moon feast. So technically this is a new moon feast, but the reason why it's highlighted is because it is indicating the turn of the year. The year's about to end, right? And that's why it's special than a regular new moon feast that you have, right? So typically in those times when the new moon was out, they would feast regularly, but it wouldn't be a set apart holiday. In our mind, you say holiday or a moedim. It would be something you do locally. But when the trumpets happen, people will get together collectively, which we saw a holy convocation. All right, so yeah, if you want to bring something out on there, it's totally up to you.
Lord is gladness. We got it on the feast days. That's the seed of gladness. We got it on the Shabbats. And we got it on the New Moon 3 times. So when we look at the feast of trumpets, we're looking at judgment, just like in Jericho. We saw that the judgment of Jericho was happening, and now the judgment of this world, the power of this world, will be shaken. So we are to lift up a voice like a trumpet. We see things, we have to say things. And then the trumpets, when it says lift your voice up like a trumpet, but also with the Almighty, we give him praise. Because a lot of times we sing in songs, but we're not talking about his wonderful works that he's doing. So it's not about what we're going through, but the works that he's going through, and to deliver us from situations at hand. So everything we do is just to give him the glory, the honor. It's not about us. It's not nothing about us. Our righteousness, we don't have righteousness. So it's only because of the covenant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that we're even going to live.
So anybody else got anything? Hey, relax. We're almost there. We're almost at that part. Anybody else have anything they want to share, comment, question in regards to what we read so far, or is it pretty clear to everybody?
It's
Pretty clear, it's succinct. All right. So with that, we're done with our scripture reading. So let's go outside, look for the moon, trumpets, and then eat. You see? Come on, some finger. All right. Wow.
It was meant for us to do it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can't find it. I'm too short. Yep. Every year we try to get a good picture and it never shows. Oh, yeah.
All right. Give your trumpets a sound if you got it. You can't do but too much because, you know, neighbors are probably trying to sleep. But, all right. Let's go ahead and give it two or three good blasts. All right. Let's go. 1, 3. Go ahead. Wow. We need to work on that one. There you guys. 1. Go ahead. You got it, Zaya. Go ahead. You do another one.
They all coming through that.
There we go. Okay. You want to do one more? One last one? And then after that, we...
Looking like a
There we go. All right. Shalom, shalom. Yom Teruah, Chag Sameach. Yeah. King Khan. The dogs are getting into it too. That's what's up. All right. Okay. All right, y'all. Let's go in and get some food. Yay. See the moon?
Did you blow yours, Salome?
Yeah, she just blew it.
All right.
Yeah, you did it. Go ahead, Simon. Do yours.
I'm recording you.
Good job. Hold it this way.
Yeah, hold it up.
Go ahead.
There you go.
Yay. Good job. All right. Okay, y'all. Let's go. Awesome. Yeah, time to eat.
No, we never forget a wicked heart, make a wicked mind, and a wicked plot, make a wicked crime. You never figured that you do time, baby. Remember my God design. Even when the rich is able to lead his people back on the righteous track. You want to let go.
Yeah, that's fine.
He was a tears, but we just repent, get out of the way. So back in the bed, I never regrets. In order our steps, to follow his path, to nothing is left. Yep. How the hell would you say hometown? When the family fathers would say the mamas at the same system they rap. Ooh, you don't follow the trail. So philosophy should be shrimp. Cause my boundaries and the food is breeds. Only for me see and kill me, man. When I stand, that's quick. Sand in the land that don't bend it. Plan with the take the drugs up on the candlestick just to break it back and put it in your hands. Oh child, they child is using case file. Get me into the bum wild. Cause that drug addiction work them down, round. It's always like the crowd, crack affliction, to put a pound. Same as that shit, but under the ground. Longest money made in a prison bed, we gon' break them down, try to break their will, but that is you. Takes a tripping pill, we gon' prosecute, we gon' put your hell, yeah. We gon' get your death, yeah. We gon' disable you, yeah. We gon' enable you, yeah.